So a lot of people are probably wondering why I would make a video talking about 2021's roster when 2020 isn't over yet. And it's a good question. We still have a legitimate chance, a fighter's chance, not a high chance to get into the playoffs, but at the current rate we're at, there is a chance we would probably have to win out. But I started to kind of look at the roster and think about next year. And really, if you think about it, this roster is not like bereft of talent, like a lot of people, when they think of their teams and what they got to do to rebuild and get back to where they needed to be. I mean, we're pretty good at some positions. You think of Kevin Givens and DJ Jones and Kerry Hyder along the defensive line. You got Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw. You add Nick Bosa back to that next year, and possibly, I don't know who we would get maybe as a speed rusher. Maybe keep Ronald Blair. It's a pretty formidable defensive line. Of course, you look at our linebackers, and, we have Dre Greenlaw. We have Fred Warner, Azeez El-Shaair, and, linebacker looks pretty good as well. You go to the secondary, Jimmy Ward looks like he's finally coming into his own. They're putting him all over the field, and he's making plays. If he can make up for his bad angles, Tavarius Moore is definitely the answer at the other safety spot. That right there solidifies that position, those positions. Corner's tricky because, Sherman's he's getting up there in age, and he's probably going to demand a decent cap hit. And then you also look at Jason Verrett, and it's like, who do you give a contract to? Do you give it to neither? Do you give it to both? With Verrett, do you do a prove-it deal? The thing with Verrett is that he stayed healthy this year, but history says you shouldn't count on him. So if I was the Niners, I would definitely look into draft a corner early in the draft if possible, along with bringing back some veterans. Jamar Taylor might be your answer at slot corner if they decide to let K'Wan go, because he's going to demand a pretty penny. And I think definitely Sherman is better than Mosley. As much as I love Mosley, he's definitely the third corner of the three. Then you go to offense. One of the biggest glaring needs besides quarterback is that offensive line. That offensive line going into 2021 needs some work. If they decide to re-sign Trent Williams, that's great. Lincoln Tomlinson, but that from center to right tackle, it needs massive work. That's one area where the Niners really need to do some focusing on, because they've played horrendous this year. I mean, I don't know what you can do with Mike McGlinchey. Can you coach him up? Could you get him to put on more weight? We'll have to wait and see. When you look at the skill positions on offense, skill positions are pretty damn good. If you can get a healthy Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, not Trent Taylor, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Jordan Reed, George Kittle, and Raheem Mostert. I mean, that's a pretty formidable offense. Now, you can add to that something else in the offseason or in the draft. But when you look at that skill position from those areas, I mean, the Niners have a pretty talented roster. They just have to get back players that they're missing, namely Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa makes that whole thing go. His health in 2021 is going to be key. Let's hope that he has a good recovery. If we can develop other guys along that defensive line, like a Kerry Hyder already, and maybe keep Ronald Blair, you could always number the snaps, babysit his career. I mean, he's got one of those bodies that gets broken down. We're definitely going to have to address the other outside pass rusher. I don't know who. I don't know if you guys know any draft picks, mid-round guys that are strictly speed rushers that the Niners could look at. But it's going to be an interesting offseason, definitely with the cap going down and Niners having to make some serious decisions, especially at quarterback. To put that much money at quarterback is going to hurt your team in other ways. The only thing I'll say is that going forward, if the Niners do win out or play well down the stretch, they're going to really take themselves out of the quarterback sweepstakes. So if they're willing to trade away some picks, multiple first rounders or something, if they really see a guy in the top 10 that they have to go after, then I'd say do it. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on next year. Hopefully we do well in this year and, at the cost of drafting high. But if we have a chance to get into the dance, I say go for it. What the hell? Let's do it. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Drop a like and subscribe if you like what you hear. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys on the flip side. See ya.